Hi everyone. Welcome to HNM Technologies online training. So this is it. We are going to build the Capstone project, a complete student data analyzer that uses everything from this course: file, input, output, pandas, functions, exception handling, matplotlib, all working together in a real program. In part one, we plan a setup and build the core data pipeline. Every skill from this course, module 1 to module 8, leads to this. Let's build it. Now we are going to build a complete analysis project. This project stimulates a real world system. We will load student data from a CSV file and clean the data and then perform analysis after generating insights and visualizing results. So this is what we're going to do in this project. And also we're going to structure our code into multiple files like a main.py and folder, analyzer and a reporter. This is how real software projects are built. Okay, now let's see. So inside our Capstone project, I am creating a file called a project. So folder is created inside a Capstone project folder, and here I'm going to create our files. Firstly main.py, and then a loader, and then analyzer.py, and finally reporter. So we have four files in our project folder. Before analyzing data, we need a data set. Instead of manually creating a one, we can generate a sample data using a Python. Here we created a CSV file with student names and random scores. We use the CSV module to write rows and random module to generate marks. This helps us quickly create test data for development and practice. Yeah, here you can see the CSV file is created students.csv with a name and their marks, math, physics, chemistry, attendance. So this file is automatically generated by using a Python. So first data was created. Now let's load our data. For this, I'm just importing pandas as a PD and then defining a load data function load data with a file path. And then I'm trying to exception handling. So for this, I'm defining data frame here. So data frame PD dot read CSV. So read CSV file path. And next, I am printing a formatted out, which is a loaded length of data frame students from file path. Now I'm expecting in a file not found error. When if a error occurs, I'm printing file not found with the file path. The file name is a file path, and then this time none. Okay, let's next data cleaning process. Firstly, I'm removing the duplicate names. Remove duplicate names. For this, I'm creating a data frame which is a df dot or drop duplicates. Subset is a name. I'm giving data. Okay, now done. Our next process is filling missing values. So what we're doing actually filling missing values with a default value. So that is default with a 0 I'm going to fill. So I'm defining df data frame dot fill na is a 0, and then finally I'm changing the data type, that is number columns must be integers, otherwise we may get a error here for column in a math, physics, chemistry, finally attendance. These are the number columns. They should be in numbers only. So I'm converting a pd dot to numeric. So if it is an error, I'm using a co-arrays, and this will convert as a file name fill in a with the default 0, and the type is integer. Okay, done. At the end, I'm printing a formatted output. So cleaned length of the data frame, students ready, and then return df data frame. So the data is loaded. So temporarily I'll just run this how it works. Yeah, see, it loaded 10 students from students.csv, and the 10 students are ready, which is a name with the marks, math, physics, chemistry, and attendance. Okay, now let's see, look at our data table, which is a clean without any duplicates. So data is done. Now we need to remove this, and then yeah, done. Now it's time to go to the our analyzer file. Here I'm importing pandas as PD. So and I define a function with average grade. So average grades if grade is greater than equal to 90, then return a plus. Else if average is 75, then return a, and 60 b, and up to greater than equal to 45 is a C. Then below the remaining everything is a fail. Okay. So with the function define analysis, I am giving a copy of our data frame. Then these are the subjects, and to calculate our total marks out of 300, then the average as a percentage, then calculating a grade, and finally is a pass or fail. So returning a DF data frame. So I'm also creating the function called a class summary with a top and bottom. Here we're printing total students and the class average and top students and then lowest score and pass rate and grade breakdown. This is what we are showing here. So unless, yeah, see, this is also created. Class summary was created here with the total students, class average and top students, lowest score, pass rate, and also grade breakdown. Now it's working perfectly. Then after testing and removing these comments, so now it's time to go to our main. So main.py. Firstly, importing our files and from loader, analyzer, and the load data analysis and the class summary. So we imported, and then I have created a heading with a student data analyzer with the top decoration and lower decoration. Yeah, if you want, you can see the here. So student data analyzer here in right side. So firstly, we need to load our data, which is a student.csv file. So if the file is not there, and then we are printing a cannot continue without a data. So let's try to rename this file name. If it is now see the output here. System exist file is not following the just I rename the students.csv. So now it's come back to normal. Our storage.file CSV is here and then works fine everything. Step 2, analyze the data. For this, I'm just calling which is our data frame is this is already we created. Analysis data frame is analyzation is done. Next, step 3, showing a top 5. So you can see the output here. Top 5 students with a name, total, average, and grade result. Top 5 based on the total score. 231, 217, 215, 209, 203. Okay, this is what I've done. And then next, we'll get our summary. The class summary is class students. Okay, this is a complete student data analyzer here. So here we done everything in our main, and we're just calling already created files, which is a analyzer and loader. Okay, firstly we created data, and then with the help of students.csv, and then go to the loader to cleaning the load data, so removing duplicates and the file missing values, and then converting numeric data types. So everything is created and tested, works fine, and then we call all this from the main function, which is a main.py here. This is how a real world projects work. Some A person will do the loader, some B person will do analyzer, and some C person the creator data. And if it is teamwork, team members divide and they create separate files, and everything works together like this. Okay, so this is just a sample, and in real world we have thousands of data. At the time we need to be more careful, and if and especially if we're handling an errors, we need to specify what type of error it is exactly. Okay, so at the end I'm giving you practice questions. Here is your practice questions. In beginner you need to add a bonus mark column to give 5 marks to any student with attendance above 90, regulate their average. And then in intermediate you need to add a rank column to data frame based on average score, and then handle a tie breaking by total marks. And then advanced level we need to add a subject topper function that finds the highest score per subjects, and prints subject topper board showing a name and score for each subject. So you just need to do some modifications with the project. Okay, so firstly understand these questions and then work on them. Yeah, that's it about this video. And next video we save the results to CSV and build the charts, clean up the code, and talk about what to learn after completing this Python. Okay, see you there. And thank you for choosing HNM Technologies online training. Happy coding. Bye bye.